Greetings, fellow Slian agents in the wild. It's your trusted handler, Brian, bringing to you what we promised, Deep Waters Disavowed. But first, as always, the shoutouts. Greetings to our newest YouTube subscriber, Alexandria Santiago. Welcome to the show, Ali. Glad you're here. And we have from Nicholas Bellevaux, who remarked about our Convergence Episode 2 to one of us, I'm imagining. That's a killer-ass Arnold. No doubt referring to one of our many Arnold impressions. Don't forget to tip your waiter. Those pickles, they're not free. He's probably not referring to my Arnold impressions. I barely compete with these other men. No way. Thank you, Nicholas. We do try. And finally, Gilbert Isla says in regards to wrapping up our collateral damage season. Excellent mission and module, folks. I can't wait for the next season. Well, Gilbert, welcome to it. It's here and it's now. Now, a little bit of background as far as this next season. Originally, we ran this a while back with some other agents, and so this milk run was going to be a non-canon event put together because Sam and Tone wanted an opportunity to run through it. So I spiced up the scenario from its original format, then we set a date and we fired it up, and you know, it ran different and smooth. And with two players who know the system, controlling two agents that are familiar with investigating the elusive, well, I think the results speak for themselves, and this became the definitive version of my vision of Deep Waters. Now, I hope all you fellow slinging agents in the wild find it likewise, and if so, please don't be shy about letting other people know. Remember, you can find our YouTube channel at RolledHard20, so head over and subscribe if you haven't already done so, and leave us a comment and let me know how you like this show. We're also on all major and minor podcast platforms, so be sure to give us the 5-star rating and review. And if you like our material, and from all the reviews and comments that I see, it seems like everyone is enjoying what we're putting out. So we're counting on all you fellow slinging agents in the wild to help keep us pushing towards the top of the charts, right? All right, enough. Let's warm up our dice and top of our glass as Roll the Hard 20 presents Episode 1 of our homebrew scenario, Deep Waters Disavowed. Enjoy. How's my brothers doing?
We are doing good.
Doing well.
It's been a while since I've seen you. What, like a week?
Yeah, I guess so. Been a shorter while since we last chatted. Talked to you, Ryder, and talked to you, Tone. Recently,
Yeah.
a couple of days ago.
Man, tell you, can't get enough of us, can you?
Can't get enough.
Can't get enough of the brothers.
Beep. Let me
Some of them.
Yeah.
get my dice ready here.
Yeah, I gotta warm up the dice.
Hell yeah.
Top off the glasses.
All right, that's a good roll. Okay. I'm going to lead us in here. And, we're just going to jump right into it. Greetings, fellow slingers. Welcome back to Roll the Hard 20 podcast. It is I, your trusted handler, Brian. And with me, my hard slingers of yore.
Back into the fray.
Yeah.
Running Deep Waters Disavowed, meaning that it is not part of our canon yet. We will see if we'll make it part of the canon or if we'll find a way to kind of shoehorn this thing in. Well, depends on some of the other things. Who knows?
I'm just looking forward to Deso getting a cannon yet. That's like a baby cannon, right? You gonna fire that off? Sink some boats?
Yeah.
All right, let me read
something.
it. Date, late February. Time, 0800. Location, Los Angeles International Airport. Place, a meeting room adjacent to the food court. We see two individuals sitting in a low-lit room, the only sounds being the AC unit and the fan trying to cool a projection unit sitting on a tray. By all accounts, these two individuals should not be here, and yet here they are. Once again, both have dropped everything and answered the call. Who am I looking at right now?
Looking at Ichi Kimura.
And Polly Adesso.
Yes. Many adventures you two have been on.
Many.
And again, you're here for another one. You sit in this room, have been sitting here for a few minutes. You've actually been sitting in silence. A lot of the world about you, wearing on you, what you had to do to get here, probably playing in the back of your mind. And after about 15 minutes, the door opens and a burly man in his 40s enters the room. His salt and pepper buzz cut and piercing blue eyes make him easy to identify. Heisenberg. He clears his throat and begins. You've heard it said that blood is thicker than water, until the blood becomes over-diluted with water. Then they are one and the same. Gentlemen, I'm pleased to see the two of you once again. However, we're going to have to dispense with the pleasantries. We're against the clock, so this mission's read-in will be brief. At 0400 this morning, a shrimping freighter, the Aqua Fortune, out of Alaska, was dredging the floor of the Alaskan Sea when its gear snagged something, to which they brought to the surface. A short while later, the Aqua Fortune sent out a mayday to the Coast Guard. The mayday was frantic and vague, but from what we were able to piece together, the Aqua Fortune brought to the surface what could best be described as a large, disc-like object. This event precipitated several members of their 7-man crew being incapacitated and initiated First Mate Joseph Stevens assuming command of the vessel. The report came to the agency by way of one of our friendlies in the Coast Guard who intercepted the mayday, and as for now, that's as far as it's gone. The immediate location of the Aqua Fortune is now under an intentional umbrella of radio silence, preventing anyone from contacting the crew or the crew contacting the outside world. Our friendly has given us a 24-hour window from the time the mayday was received to when her hand will be forced to pass the incident up the chain to her superiors. After that, all bets are off, and the clock started 4 hours ago. As it stands, you'll be getting into Anchorage just short of 1600. That's 4 p.m. A chopper will meet you on the tarmac to get you out to the Aqua Fortune, which is being held in a quarantine 15 miles off the coast of Anchorage in the Gulf of Alaska. That should put your ETA close to 1800 or 6 p.m. The chopper is going to leave you there, return to the mainland to refuel, and then come back to extract you in 8 hours. That puts its return at 0200. As your orders stand, you're to ensure that the Aqua Fortune is not to make landfall until the threat, whatever it is, has been handled. You'll need to get on-site information as to what kind of threat they brought to the surface. Make the determination if the crew has been compromised, and what steps to take either to provide a good cover story to satisfy their curiosity or silence them. After that, you get your asses back on the chopper with mission accomplished on your lips. And keep in mind that scuttling the ship may be a viable solution. I have a very limited dossier on the Aqua Fortune and her crew. Study what we have before you get there. And good hunting, men.
All right,
we're ready.
Look through this and guess pack for slightly warmer weather, as it's summer in San Francisco, which means that's the coldest winter you've ever known. So I can at least wear some shorts now to Alaska. Should be warmer.
Sure, yeah, definitely so. You both board Delta Flight 426 and settle in for your 5-hour and 49-minute flight. As the plane lands and begins its slow taxi along the tarmac, you see a group of Marines in formal attire approaching the plane. As maintenance workers begin to push the rolling staircase against the fuselage, there is silence as the door begins to yawn open. You step out into the brisk air, the cold already biting you like needles. At the bottom of the stairs, a lance corporal approaches the two of you and inquires if you are agents Adesso and Kimura.
Indeed.
That's us.
Agents, do you have all your stuff with you, all of your gear?
Yes, it's fortunately a one-night trip, so we're not packing too heavy. Just carry on for me, thank you.
We do have our FBI identification, and we do get to bring our sidearms on the plane. And each, do you have your brand new jack blade?
Are you saying this in front of the guy we've never met?
No, this is outside.
Out of game, yes. I have my jack blade, Tonto, as well as a backup weapon, my Glock.
Well, now that I know what kind of compliment you agents have, will you please follow me?
That was out of game, I said. Sorry. The listeners heard.
He's looking at the two of you, look at each other, and look back at him. Will you two agents please follow me? And he motions for the two of you to head towards a marine chopper sitting off the main thoroughfare and idling, its rotors making a slow rotation above the fuselage. As he motions for the two of you to board, and once you do, he slides the door closed and bangs on it. As you don the headsets hanging in front of you, the chopper begins to rise into the cold, darkening sky. A short while later, the chopper makes its way over the open sea, and the chopper continues being buffeted as the gale winds all about you try to get inside. Off to the west, you can see the quarter orb of the distant sun as it continues to drop below the horizon, and framed by this waning ball of fire is a lone freighter bobbing on the water. At this distance, it's hard to tell just how big the freighter is, but as you draw closer, I need for the two of you to make an observation check.
All right.
Critical failure, 88.
88.
I got 59.
Is that a pass?
Yeah, sorry. 59 under 70.
Odessa, you're probably getting airsick at this point as this wind is buffeting this chopper back and forth, back and forth. But as you're looking at this freighter, you see a large object, approximately 30 feet in diameter, covered by a large tarp and tethered down to the aft of the freighter. As the chopper begins to circle around this freighter, over your headphones you can hear the pilot's voice crackle through. Something's occupying the rear trawl deck. I'm not gonna be able to land. You're gonna have to lower down by harness.
Great.
What does that mean?
There are two harnesses under the rear jump seats in the back. Fasten them around your waist and through your legs, and get the D-ring in front ready. You're gonna have to winch your way down.
Adesso shows each how to do it.
Yeah, that's Navy man. Help me out.
Yeah. No problem. This goes here, here, here. This goes here. You put it in, and you clip here, and we go straight down. Shouldn't be a problem. Keep your body weight forward. Try to grasp onto the rope or the winch in this case, so it helps you from knocking backwards.
I will take notice of this, how to do it, because in case I need to get airlifted out and Adesso is not with us, I want to make sure I know how to do it.
The pilot brings the chopper over the freighter's midsection and begins to hover in the wind. Who's going down first?
You should send each down first, so that Adesso can check his harness to make sure it's all good.
Does that sound good to you, each?
Each means one, so might as well.
As you begin to lower yourself down, you feel these strong winds buffet you, causing you to sway like a pendulum in the wind.
Woo.
I need you to make an athletics check as you try to touch down.
I'm okay with athletics. That's usually a nice high one for me. That will be, no, it's not too high. Under 50. 57, fail.
57. You take 1 point of damage as you slip onto the deck as your boots touch down and the ship lists. Adesso, You look down, you see each fall prone, and you see 4 men start moving towards him from the bow of the vessel.
They look hostile?
You really can't tell. They do look like they're kind of crouching, moving, but they're holding on to the railings that are inboard.
Okay.
And they're moving in a single file.
So it sounds like the way a crew would move. Crew on the ship trying to keep down the wind and everything else. So he'll latch himself onto the winch and then tell the pilot to hold it steady and then start lowering himself.
Make an athletics check. You hear from the pilot.
Yeah, this ain't going to be so good. I got to get under 35. Oh, gosh.
So bad he just...
38.
38. You take 1 point as well as you land right beside each on the deck of this vessel. As soon as you touch down and release yourself from the harness, you feel the rope go up and you see the chopper begin to raise up and head back along its original heading. As you look around, you see these 4 men getting closer to you, and they start fanning out in groups of 2, leaning over you. They're wearing windbreakers with their hoods up, water-resistant pants that are no doubt covering something else that keeps them warm, boots, gloves. One of the individuals shouts down to you, Odessa, and says, "Are you okay?"
Yeah, we're good. I blame the pilot.
Of course, it's always the arrow, never the Indian. Listen, I'm Joseph Stevens. I'm first mate of the Aqua Fortune. Let's get you and your partner inside where it's safer. They look over at each, and each you see 2 individuals. One of them looks to be a young man in his 20s, Caucasian. The other one looks to be in his maybe late 30s, early 40s, looks of Hispanic origin. Wrinkles around his eyes and whatnot, scruff around his chin. And you feel him grab you and pick you up, and he says, "Are you all right?"
I am, thank you. It's my first time using these legs on a ship.
Well, it might be your last if you don't get inside. Let's go. Come on, we can't be on the deck right now. It's too dangerous.
I know.
The group leads you towards the bow and up a flight of metal steps to the wheelhouse. You see the individual that introduced himself as Stevens grabs one of the dog handles and opens it up, pulls the door open, and starts ushering everybody in. And they're not big on courtesy. They don't care to let the guests in first. The men are just trying to get inside as fast as they can. And eventually you get inside as well. And you see the wheelhouse. Even though the Aqua Fortune is a metal behemoth, the wheelhouse itself has been designed with a sense of history. Wood paneling houses the ship's instruments, surrounding a large wood and brass wheel. Gauges behind crystal lenses are precision set into exotic wooden dashes. You see oak shelves anchored into the bulkhead and are nests for books and charts and pictures of the crew. A large pegboard against the rear wall shows a map of the Alaskan Sea with several colored pins sporadically pushed into it, as well as X's at some of those pins' locations. As Stevens pulls his headgear back, you see this comb-over of blonde hair, piercing blue eyes. He looks at the 2 of you and he says, "Hey guys, what's up with the chopper leaving? How the hell are we supposed to get off this thing?" And you hear some agreements with some of the other individuals that are in the room as well. Yeah, what the fuck was up with that? Yeah.
It's very, I'm very unfamiliar with being out on a ship like this and weather like this. They were saying that the weather was really starting to cook up with big wind gusts. So I don't know, maybe they're going to try to wait it out or something and come back when it's safer. You saw how we came down, like a bunch of bags of potatoes.
Yeah, but I thought you guys were coming to get us off this thing, not leave us here. We need to get off this boat.
You guys seem to be in such a rush to get off the boat. Tell me, what's the big rush?
Well, other than the fact we're in probably the worst storm that we could have up here right now, In case you didn't notice, when you tried to land on this boat, we pulled something up off the bottom of this sea. Look, we got to get away from this thing, okay? This is way outside of our pay grade.
Who's the one speaking?
Stevens. First mate Stevens.
Got it. Are you, okay, help me out here. Are you more worried about the storm, or are you more worried about what you guys pulled up out of the ocean?
He walks on the other side of the gauges, so he's at the front of the cabin, so you guys can see him. And of course, he's got the windows behind him, looking out off the bow. Of course, we're concerned about what we brought up. I mean, we have casualties. How much have you two been read in? In fact, I'm sorry to be curt about this, but who are you two?
We're from the FBI.
I'm Federal Agent Ichi Kimura.
Yeah. Federal
Somebody
Agent Deso.
laughs just hysterically off to the side, like, you gotta be the fucking feds. What the fuck are the feds gonna do out here?
Well, the whole thing is this. What you may have pulled out may have international implications, and it may be a domestic threat. We have to figure out and determine what's going on first. I understand about the thing. We didn't want to be here any more than you do, but this is the situation we're in. So help me out here.
By the way, I mean, it seems a little dangerous outside to take a look at what this thing is that you found. Do any of you happen to have pictures that you could show me of what this is, what it looks like? And then outside a game, I'm doing this to see who has taken pictures of it, where these pictures might have been sent. I know there's a dead zone, but still, I want to find out who has
Whose
pictures.
phone we need to get.
Yeah, or more.
Make a luck roll.
Okay.
Sammy's making a luck roll?
That's
Yes.
a 15.
15. Steven says, look, maybe one of our guys had taken a few pictures with his cell phone, but I took the phone away from him. Okay? Or should I say Gomez took the phone away from him.
Could we see the pictures?
He looks at Gomez. As you look around each, you notice that Gomez is apart from the other two men, and obviously Stevens is in front and away from everybody else. But when Stevens mentions that Gomez has the phone, you see him tense up a little.
Okay. No, it's okay. I just need to see what this thing is that you found. I mean, unless someone wants to escort me out there. You've seen how I walk. Probably be safer if I could just see pictures of this. So better get a gauge of it, you know. Is this some sort of Chinese satellite that we dug up? Is it something that's Cold War era?
This isn't no Chinese satellite. This is not some World War II era aircraft that got lost because it couldn't find that fucking horizon. This isn't some kind of Viking ship that just happened to go around the horn or whatnot. This shit, this doesn't belong here at all.
You originally, I know, were the first mate, Mr. Stevens. What do I address you as now? Are you captain?
No, I'm still just the first mate.
Okay. I'd like to see if there was a way that I could maybe talk to him off to the side, out of earshot.
Got it. You and I can exchange a glance each because we've worked well together before. And he says, well, tell me more about, I'll talk to, who else is there besides Stevens? Is,
Well, you know,
Linus, Gomez,
one of the
and
individuals is Gomez.
Gotcha. Let's do introductions all the way around, gents. I'm Agent Adesso. This is my partner, Agent Each. We're trying to figure out what exactly you all found.
Well, like I said, I'm first mate Joseph Stevens. This is crewman Linus Tomlin, crewman Pedro Gomez, and crewman John Burke.
Got it. Now, we understand there were supposed to be 7 of you. There's only 4. What happened to the other 3?
Well, the captain, unfortunately, is deceased, as is the ship's engineer. And as for our ship's physician, he's in some kind of a catatonic state. He's basically as good as dead and pretty much done for.
Gotcha. And how did that happen? And what'll happen is, out of game, I'll look at each and say, You take Stevens to the port side. I'll take these guys to the starboard side and figure out what's going on.
For a moment, I go, Mr. Stevens, could you maybe show me those pictures over here? I'd like to also ask you a few questions. And I'm saying this quietly. I don't want to risk the crew hearing anything that might scare them.
He looks at Gomez, and he extends his hand. And you see Gomez reluctantly pull the phone out of his pocket, walk it over and slap it into his hand, but doesn't break eye contact with Stevens the whole time. He turns and walks back to where Adesso is.
Okay.
And Stevens opens up the phone and hands it to you.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to be looking at him and kind of just walking, again, just pulling ourselves a little bit away.
But he's leading you towards the
okay.
front port side of that wheelhouse.
Okay.
And Gomez is leading you, Adesso, and the other two individuals to the starboard front side of the wheelhouse.
Mm-hmm. So as I'm looking at the pictures, I'll address First Mate Stevens. So I don't mean to speak out of turn. Hopefully, I know you've probably led many men in situations like storms and things like that. This is probably an entirely different situation than you ever or your crew have ever been in. So, and I'll look straight at him in the eyes. It's very important that you set the tone. We do not need these men becoming scared or freaking out any more than they already are. We don't want to say things like that in front of them, at least not right now, not while we don't know what's going on. This could be something that's a leftover from some hidden war the government's had. We don't know. It could be something else. That's what we're here to find out. So if you can, please, as much as possible, you don't have to keep the tone light, but do not escalate it. And if I'm speaking out of turn, I apologize, because this is a new situation for all of us.
I'm sorry. I just, we've never seen anything like this before.
Well, I'd like to see what you've seen, so I'd like to start looking at the camera. What am I seeing? Or the no selfies. I'd like to look at the pictures.
As you start going through the photos on the phone, he actually turns away from you and is looking out the window, just out to the open sea as you go through it.
Okay.
There are two photos on the phone. One of them shows this large silver disc-like, what could best be described as a craft.
Yeah, craft.
Occupying the entire rear trawl deck of this freighter. It gives off an eerie light to it, even though the bottom of it's filled with barnacles. And it's really difficult to tell with the picture whether or not it's giving off light or reflecting light. You just see, like, in the still picture, water dripping off it, the barnacles and whatnot, and a couple of the men up front. The next picture shows part of the hull open with three men with ropes tied around their waists preparing to enter.
Are those three men that I recognize, or are potentially those the captain, the physician, and the engineer?
The size of the screen is too small.
Okay.
And it's too grainy. And besides that, they're all wearing cold weather gear.
Okay. All right. Well, as I'm looking, I want to quickly look to see in his latest texts or tweets or Facebook if he's tried to post these anywhere or anything like that. Or if he's forwarded it, like sent it to his, brother, check this out, dude,
In the text message section?
I want to do, text message and then a quick comb on like if he has any of those Facebook, Twitter apps on his thing. I want to see if he's posted any.
You do see that there are certain apps that are on the phone. You see there's Facebook, Instagram, there's Pornhub, all this different apps.
Yeah. Let me check his Pornhub real quick.
Yeah, you're not allowed to do that in Texas anymore.
No, real quick. I just want to mostly see. It's not going to be intensive. I'm not going to go to all the different things, but I want to see, like, if he has a Facebook app, just see if he posted anything in the last 24 hours, or his text. Did he send any text to his woman, to his girl, his
You can
brother?
see that there are texts that have been sent, and it looks like one of the two pictures was being somewhere, but was stopped. As far as looking at Facebook, Instagram, or any of his other social media accounts, you can't gain access to it.
Okay.
Most likely because of the communication blackout they put over this area.
Yeah, I assumed. I just wanted to make sure nothing slipped before that happened or whatever.
But it's possible that one may have got out.
Well, if it's out, it's out. There's nothing I can do
Yeah.
it from Alaska on a cell phone, but we can at least, if it's on the internet, that's fine, because that's all just garbage. That's AI, it's fake. But if he texts it to his brother or something, then it's like, there's another personal link that we got to deal with. Okay. Well, actually, I'm going to sit back and think for a second. What's happening with Agent Adesso?
Adesso takes the rest of the crew over there and says, hey, guys, look, listen. I previously was in the Navy myself. Let me level with you guys. This is a problem. This may have national security implications. No, this isn't something from China. This isn't something from Russia. This isn't World War II or Cold War. This is something cutting edge. Cutting edge, so cutting edge that they should have sent some other people. They didn't. They sent us. That's how bleeding edge this is. So I need complete confidentiality. Now tell me, why is it that all your senior leadership is dead or in a coma?
Make a Hume Int check as you're reading them, the Patriot Act.
Gotcha. Hume Int. Oh, cool. Under 55.
Break the streak.
Yeah, let's really break the streak. 26.
Yeah.
You see that the two younger individuals are paying attention. They're nodding. A couple chickens as you're speaking and all this stuff. But the older one, Gomez, is not paying any attention to you at all. He looks like he's trying to pay attention to what Each and Stevens are going about.
Okay. Gotcha. Mr. Gomez, was it right?
Yeah.
You're the one that took the pictures? Or
No.
you just had the phone?
I just had the phone. I just
Who
took the
took the
phone
pictures?
away. Burke.
Okay. Gotcha. Burke, did you send those pictures to anybody?
I try to text my fiance, just like, hey babe, look, shrimp are biting. But I don't think it went through.
Okay, so you did try to send the photo to your girlfriend, fiance, but it didn't go through. Got it.
No.
Did you post it on any other social media application or anything?
No, I didn't.
No Instagram, no Facebook, or whatever else is being used in that stuff? No?
I have those, but I didn't post it on there. No, I didn't.
Okay. All right, good. Now, again, back to my original question. What happened to your senior leadership? Why is your captain, why is your engineer, and your physician, two are dead, one's in a coma, from what I understand? What happened?
It looks like Tomlin is about to speak up, and Gomez steps forward and says, yeah, this isn't really our place to say so. This is for the first mate to say. Mm-hmm. That's the way the chain of command works on a ship like this at sea.
No, I get all that.
Former
Get him,
Navy
Tone.
man,
You're on
you
your
should
best.
know this.
Oh, I do. But the thing is, I'm asking for observations by percipient witnesses. Think of it from my perspective. I got 3 people down, and I don't know why. No one's telling me.
Agent, we have 3 people down.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm very aware. I'm trying to help you guys out. More importantly,
Order the code red.
more importantly, we've got to get to the bottom of this. We've got to figure out if something's... Did they get injured exploring the vessel, or did they get injured because of something else? Radiation, emanations, chemical, radiological, biological. I don't know. Help me out here.
I want to help you, Agent, but until First Mate Stevens says I can, I can't.
Do you have a security clearance by chance?
What
Mr.
makes you
Gomez?
think that?
Nothing, which is why I'm wondering why you're trying to preserve some kind of secrets or whatever it is.
I'm just one of the crewmen.
Okay, fair enough. You'll walk over to each and look at Stevens and say, yeah, well, you guys got some good discipline on this boat. Your guys won't tell me anything. So the question I want to know is, how did your 3 crewmen, how did the 2 of them die, and how's the one indisposed? Was it something that you guys did? Or was it something that may have emanated from this craft? I'm looking for chemical, radiological, or biological hazards, or you tell me.
And then each will be watching the other 3 crewmen to see what they're doing, Make sure they're not skipping ship.
As Stevens is about to speak, he looks past you at the other 3 men, and then looks back at you, Adesso. And each you do see this. And Stevens says, look, we were trawling the floor with our shrimp cages, and we snagged something on the floor. Captain Hampton ordered us to bring up the cages. The Aqua Fortune began to list as we brought to the surface whatever it was that we snagged with the winch. We were more than surprised when we saw what broke the surface.
What happened next?
Yeah, and then what are the other 3 doing while First Mate's giving it up?
They're hanging on every word that Stevens is saying. When we brought it onto the top deck, it had barnacles all over its hull, but it was still sealed. I mean, it was anybody's guess how long it had been down there for. Gru, our engineer, he worked a panel with a cutting torch in an effort to get this thing open. But it was all for naught. The composition of the hull just wouldn't yield to the torch. Ironically, it was a panel on the other side that opened. And that's when the captain and Gru went over there, and they were joined by Doc Mack. The interior, from what we could all see, was completely dark.
Hold on a second. How did you find the panel first?
It just opened. We were
Yes, it
cutting it
activated?
on the other side of the hull. We weren't even on that side. Gru had been torching on it back and forth for probably a good 5 minutes. When he said nothing's going through, the captain ordered him to keep going, and he kept going. And then a panel on the opposite side opened.
And then what happened?
Well, they went over there. Gru and the captain went over there, and they motioned for Doc Mack to join them. And
So those were the 3 individuals in the pictures?
yeah, for some reason, our lights would barely penetrate into the hull. Like it was so dark in there. I don't know how they got the courage to go in there. But with ropes tied around their waists, they did. They all went inside.
How does this lead to 2 of them dying and one of them falling into some sort of fugue state? What happened with them walking in to you? What pulled them out?
Well, a few moments later, after they had went inside, we heard a scream, a couple screams actually, and banging, and then silence. The rest of us moved forward to try to get a better look at what was going on inside, and we couldn't see them. We called out, they didn't answer, so we pulled on the ropes. And that's when we found Captain and Gru dead, blood coming from their eyes and ears. And however, Mac, he was still alive, breathing shallow, drooling, mumbling, completely incoherent.
What was the order of them entering? Were the first 2, were the dead people the first 2 that entered, and the third one didn't get it as bad, or what? Was there some kind of gas that maybe opened up? Some sort of nerve agents?
He pauses before answering and looks back over at the other men again. And looks back at you. I don't know. I don't know what befell them. They all seemed to go down in the order they went in. Doc Mack was the last person on the rope. I don't know. But if that thing is the way it is, it's deadly to all of us. I don't want something to happen. We haven't slept since we brought this damn thing up.
How long ago was that?
0400 this morning.
When you say you saw blood coming out of the eyes and the ears of the captain and the engineer, did it look like it was caused by some kind of trauma?
I'm not a doctor.
Can you ask the doctor? I'm fucking with you. That's not real. Look how
Okay,
huge
but
Ryder looks with those little beers.
Man, that's like me, man.
Yeah.
I put on a big glove, you know.
but okay, irrespective of you not being a doctor, could you tell if these guys have been hit in the head, shot, something?
They weren't shot by anything, and I don't believe they had any blunt force trauma to their cranium or anywhere else. We did care for them as well as we could, and we put them in the freezer down below to try to keep them from decaying as much as possible until we could get back home. But I guess our chances of getting off this boat just flew away. And just so you two agents know, whatever befell those 3 men and stand to befall us, you're now part of this lottery.
Yeah, which is why you need to be explicitly clear and open with us when we ask you questions. Your men, particularly Crewman Gomez, seems to be a little skittish, and I can understand that. But it's up to you as the first mate and now captain to keep your men in order. If you want us all to get off of this ship, you're going to have to follow the rules that we're trying to do here. We're trying to get information. When people want to hide information about taking pictures, that's not very good. That's going to lead to prolonging this. And none of us want to be here on this shrimp boat longer than we have to. No offense to the ship.
After you drag these guys out, anything else come out?
Other orifice? Or what do you mean?
I believe he means of the vessel.
Yeah.
Steven.
You pull on the ropes, pull them out. Anything else happen?
We didn't see anything, but I got to be honest, we pulled the men out. We tried to care for them on the deck as quick as we could, but it's like 4 o'clock in the morning. It's dark as hell out there. All we have are the overhead lights, and that's as best as we could hope for illumination. And you know, we did take them back indoors as soon as we could. But how could anything be on there, man? How?
Did anything else come out of the vessel after you guys got you retrieved your crewmen? Anybody else, anything else come out of there?
From the 3 men that are on the other side of the wheelhouse, you hear, we didn't see anything else come out of there.
Is it still open?
Who are you talking to?
I'm going to talk to Gomez. I'm going to go back to Stevens and ask him, is the hatch still open?
Yes, it's still open. Because we didn't know how it got open, so we had no way of knowing how to close it.
Got it. All right.
So out of game, Tone, what do you think that we should take a look at the doctor and see if we can get anything out of it? The dead bodies, we could look at, but they're dead. They're not really a problem unless we see like fang marks on their necks. It sounds like they just died because of some toxin in that vessel, the UFO thing.
Yeah. Good call. Let's go talk to the doctor. If he's not responsive at all, then our next move is to go into the ship and figure out what's going on. We're going to have to decide whether or not these guys are compromised. Right now, they didn't see anything, and all they can report is something came up from the bottom. They got a craft. 3 of their people died. That's still containable. We may not need to clean them. Let's be frank, no one would believe them anyway.
We could just play it up that it's some old commie stuff from them crossing over to Alaska because they could see Sarah Palin's house and they wanted to go see her, so they took the submersible, you know?
Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's go back in game. Mr. Stevens, we'd very much like to take a look at the doctor and see if we can, see if he's responsive at all.
Okay, let's head on down. Gomez, why don't you stay in the wheelhouse with Tomlin? I'll take Burke with me.
I'll mention to Stevens, I did find it a little odd that you guys didn't station a guard or a watch or something on that open hatch.
I'm sorry, Agent. We're just a shrimping vessel.
No, I get it, but I get it. Let's go talk to the doc if we can.
So Stevens leads the both of you and Burke out of the wheelhouse, takes you down 2 levels into the port side corridor. and lead you to what is now sick bay. As you enter the corridor, you see that the lights there are just really dimly lit. They almost seem like they're maybe 15, max 20 watt bulbs behind old thick glass with these metal cages around each one to prevent them from breaking. He approaches the first passage door on the left and opens it. And immediately you can see that this room was probably once the lounge of a big vessel before this thing was turned into a shrimper, but now has been turned into a sick bay. And on the table of this room lays the ship's physician, Mac Morgan. You see he's got this blank stare in his eyes, and every so often you see a tear roll down his cheek. His eyes start to dart around, and then suddenly, without warning, he just screams as loud as he can. And I'll see you guys next session.
No!
I scream louder!
That's the plan.
What's the rush? Yeah, what's the reason to get off the boat?
Hold on. Yeah, play it off a little better, bro. We don't want to
Lead into
I
a
want to hear
different
what they have to say.
Okay,
You
I'm
and I
sorry.
both know what's going on. I want to know what they know, because remember, part of the mission is we may have to clean the crew.
Oh yeah. Okay. Sorry. Let's go back from where Tone said that.
Go back to where that's at again. Say it again. Thank you for joining us once again on Roll the Hard 20 podcast. Remember, you can find us and subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora Radio, iHeart Radio, Amazon Podcasts, and Audible. And if you like what you're listening to, be sure to leave us that 5-star rating and review. Don't forget about our YouTube channel at Roll the Hard 20. So if you're into watching and you want to help support this show, then head on over and hit that subscribe button. It really does help the show out. We can also be found in the wild on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, so don't forget to look for us there and check us out. You can also contact the show directly at rollthehard20podcast@gmail.com or head on over to the website at rollthehard20podcast.com, where you can download the current show directly, pick and choose past shows from our archives, or view our galleries. We've got a lot of stuff posted over there, so check us out. And finally, join us on our Patreon at patreon.com/rollthehard20podcast, where you can become a hard slinger and pick up swag. So until next time, keep your dice warm and your glass topped off as you roll those hard 20s.